Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Center Stage with ICS Theatre. I'm your host Anaita Mantri back again to bring you some entertainment and some insights in the next few minutes. So let's get started. Now, this episode is extra special because this year ICST is celebrating its 10th anniversary. Yes, our beloved ICS Theatre is turning 10 and we can't keep calm. So, we thought we would do something different this time and present to you a series of talks with some of our very own people. To kick off the series, I want to first bring on the founders of our parent body, Indian Cultural Society of East Brunswick. These passionate pioneers were not only the driving force behind bringing together the Indian diaspora in its early days in New Jersey, and specifically in East Brunswick, but they were also the cornerstones of what would eventually become the foundation of ICS Theatre. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Amita Kapoor and Dr. Yogesh Jaluria. Ms. Manjeeta Ahluwalia couldn't be with us today. Welcome.
Hello. Well, we're glad to be here.
Hi,
Hi, everyone.
Hi, my name is Amita Kapoor. How's everyone?
Great. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Wonderful.
Okay. So, without any more delay, let's jump right to it. Now, about what year was it when ICS of East Brunswick was conceptualized and brought to our community?
1999.
Okay.
That's 25 years.
Okay, great. So it's the 25th anniversary of ICS East Brunswick
Coming
as
up,
well.
yes.
Awesome, awesome. And can you give us some idea about like what it was like in those days? I'm sure it's a lot more different now in New Jersey. There's a lot more Indian population. The Desi community is much more widespread. How was it then compared to how it is now back in the
Well, the
day?
community was small. There's no question. The number of people obviously was very small. But the main thing is that when we founded this society, and three of us, Amita, Manjeet, and myself, our basic focus was that it should represent India. It should not represent a region, a religion, a caste, or a region in India or a state. So from that point of view, we thought that a society should be formed, which caters not only to the Indian community, but also forms a bridge between the Indian community and the local, which is the East Brunswick, South River, North Brunswick communities. So over the years, that's what has been happening, that we have involved ourselves more and more with the local community. We've been involved with the charitable events. We've been involved with July 4th or whatever they might have. So we are a presence here of the Indian community. And that's what our focus has been. We've had cultural events over the years. Some of the Diwali function that we've had 800, 900 people. So obviously we had a big group of people coming in. We probably have about 1,000 members, 1,000 families as members. So it's a fairly widespread now. But when it started, it was just a few hundred people. And to give you a little bit of an idea, we had no money to start with. So to start with, the people like Amita, myself, and a few other friends actually put our money in there to get it started. So and finally we did repay all the money back, but we started with almost nothing. But it caught on very quickly. And within the first few years, we were able to remove all our debts and then start planning on future things. And over the years, things have evolved quite a bit. The theater group has taken off and has done very well. All our cultural events have been doing very well, and we have been interacting quite extensively with the local community. So by and large, I think we certainly, three of us feel very happy that it has done so well.
Yeah. Amita, would you like to add something to that?
Yes, of course. Yogesh very well put it. We really wanted our community to integrate with the local community. But there was another part that I personally was really focused on, was to give our children a sense of community. Because our children at that time, being a smaller community, they were surrounded by Egyptian, Jewish, Catholic, and they all had their communities, whereas our Indian children did not have a community. Yes, there were some religious pockets of Indian communities, but every family and every child did not relate to that. We wanted to bring together everyone. And as Yogesh said, we did not want to separate North Indians, South Indians, Bengalis, Punjabis, and Gujaratis. We wanted them all to be known as Indians. And I think we created a really vibrant group of children who were so enthusiastic to participate in our yearly functions. We started off even with, doing programs at the library where we allowed children, and I think that program is
Still going on.
still going on, that any child can get on stage and perform, whether it's a song, whether it's a dance, or whether they want to narrate a poem or anything creative that they wanted to do. And that was very important because we wanted our children to create that confidence within themselves that, hey, I can come out and, present myself publicly and not be afraid, because they could be left behind in a big school system that East Brunswick has.
True.
There were communities from all over the world. And, Indian parents basically at that time did not participate in parent-teacher, conferences. They were not as involved in the school system. Let's put it up that way. So our children were kind of left behind. And I mean, I see a huge difference. It is just maybe 7 or 8 years ago when our group of Indian children, they performed at the East Brunswick International Dance Festival and they won first prize. I was just so proud about it that, hey, look, now we got recognized as, being really stars ourselves. So,
Sure.
and also I've noticed, since I've grown up with all these children growing up, they're now married and they still keep in touch. And that's amazing, so that sense of community really spread, widely. And I think that's what we wanted to create, other than, just being a society and catering to, small and big events. We tried to do very good events. And when, the theater group came in, thanks to Barka, I mean, we really exploded. And, and that's what I really feel proud about, is the way the Indian cultural society transformed.
That's amazing. What a noble cause to do this for the children, and something that goes on and on for the future generations. I mean,
Well,
it's
what is
amazing what
interesting is that some children who were participating in our community
yeah,
events are
yeah,
now bringing their children to come and participate in the society. So that has made a big difference, that they were so involved with it and were so happy with it that they're bringing their own children in it.
that's
And and
amazing.
and, and the other thing is that even in the school, they started forming good groups. They started forming connections and interconnections with each other as Indians, which certainly made a big difference. So certainly the impact on the children was, and we actually have a scholarship in our name, which we'll give to seniors, which we have been giving for many, many years. We get involved, have them involved with many functions and many events. So there has been a fair amount of involvement with children from the very young to those who are graduating. There has been a fair amount of involvement. And but not only children, we have not left anybody behind. I think the families are involved. There are people, seniors who want to go to Atlantic City. We've had events for them. So we've had a whole gamut of things in which people feel involved.
Wow, that's great. That's absolutely amazing. It's so good to know all of these, noble causes that you guys have, brought to us and given the people of this community. Do you remember any incidents from the past or from the early days, or some funny anecdotes, or something that might have happened while this was still in its early stages? Do you want to share with us something?
Well, in the early stages, as I said, we had very little money. So
Yeah.
many of our events were done in the university halls of Rutgers University, or we'll have a picnic in a park, get people together. So initially, it was obviously with limited money, we were able to do certain things, but not as much as we wanted. But as it grew, things became much easier to do, and then we have a lot of things going on now besides the theater group.
Yeah, I can relate one very funny incident. In the very early times. We had um, and that time it was little pre ICS. We had a member, Geeta Iyer, who was very passionate about getting everybody together. So we organized a dance for the teens, and we put in money to get the band and everything, but our teens, they wouldn't mingle with each other. It was so funny, the few parents that were there to watch over them. No one was interacting with each other, and finally, we parents had to start dancing to all that, fun music that we had, organized, with the DJ and all that. And the children finally, the teens finally came out and started to dance a little bit and recognize each other. They wouldn't even, the Indian kids wouldn't even acknowledge each other at that time because they barely knew them.
Yeah.
So it was, so, that told us that we really need a community where children are, mingling with each other. So, this was really a big impetus for us to have an organization where, of course, the children firstly were, friends with each other.
Yeah.
And as Yogesh said, they later on formed their communities and did things together. And, now they are a strong core in the school system. But at that time, they hardly knew each other. So that was very funny because the adults were dancing to the music and the children were just, standing on the sidelines because we really wanted them to get involved with each other. So I think that was quite a story at that time.
Interesting. Yeah, and see where we are now. I mean, the ICS talent shows and all of these shows. We have so many kids performing and so many, children who want to, who are eager to participate and put themselves out there. So of course that speaks to your success in this. Um, do you have anything to say to the future generations who will be taking on the mantle of ICS and who will be taking this organization forward? What's your message to them?
They
I
should
think I
basically
have.
maintain the basic thread that we started with. I think they should never give that up. The fact that we represent India, we don't want it to be a Gujarati association or a Bengali or whatever. I think they should maintain the basic spirit of the society that is for the community. It is a part of the American community that we must be interacting with the local communities. We must represent India, and we must take care of the different sectors of our own group, from the children to the seniors to the and so on. So basically the fundamental principles that we started with should always remain, whatever we do.
Yes, and that's true. And the other thing also is that delegation is very important. We should, get in new members in, and, allow participation from, members all over the community. Um, because, I think that one part I feel has led this organization to be where it is today. You have new blood coming in all the time. You have new ideas, kind of uh, brought in and implemented. When we first started the organization, we used to sit and send out handwritten uh, letters, and now we are on the website. Look what a big difference. So obviously, technology has brought a big change, and I think, it should continue. We should continue to evolve. That's the best part of our organization. We must evolve. It not just be stagnant and stick with old ways also. We integrate with the society, but keep our Indian heritage strong.
That's a great message. Absolutely wonderful. Congratulations to ICS on turning 25. And do you have any last messages for ICS Theatre turning 10 this year?
Well, we just have best wishes for them. And we, of course, are, as long as we are here, we are there to support them.
Yeah.
I think it's a great community of theater adults. I love going to the theater when they have plays whenever I can, and wow, it's created a new aura for ICS. That's for
Absolutely.
sure. Um, and I really appreciate that part, because it really got not just the children, it got the adults involved also. And that created a better sense of community, as we all wanted. So I think it's wonderful, and I wish ICS all the best, and I wish the theater group who's celebrating their 10th anniversary the very best. It's been an amazing ride. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the two of you for joining us today
Sure.
and sparing your very precious time to be with us and chat with us and tell us these beautiful stories and give us this little ride down memory lane about the early days of ICS. We are extremely grateful that because of what you started, we are here today celebrating ICS Theatre's 10th anniversary. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much to both of you and to Sanjeev as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.